When I first met Trung, it was the day that our family moved from Salem to Portland, a little over 2 years ago. At first, I thought he was just one of the crew members from the moving company because he was with them, carrying boxes into the house and moving furniture and stuff like that. And only later did I find out that he was actually our neighbor from across the street. And then after we moved, we would find things at our front door, usually food. It could be chips, it could be frozen food, it could be anything. And sometimes it was like half eaten, sometimes it was new. And over time, he became very comfortable with us. And like whenever our garage door was open, whether I was washing the car or maybe doing some unpacking, that was like an invitation. He would always come over and see, what we were doing, and and he would always help. If I was washing the car, he would just come over and just, pick up the hose and start spraying the car. And there was one time when Sydney was home alone and we came home and the kitchen was really clean. I said, thank you for doing the dishes, Sydney. And she said, yeah, Trung helped me. He did the dishes with me. But over time, he became a really good friend. Ken eventually invited him to our church, and he started coming to our church with us. And Saturday was also his errand day. So a lot of times we would take 2 cars, and Ken would stay at church with the kids for our youth event, and I would always be the one driving him to his errands. His favorite stores were like Walmart, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, and he had all these like coupons from the what he has collected, and he would always know, this has this deal, if you need this. He would always be telling me these things. And over these couple of years, I think he's probably, he's like Ken's best friend. He's the only one that calls him like 3-4 times a week. If he sees something on the news, or if he loves Ryan. He's always bringing stuff for Ryan. And my girls would say, he dropped this off for Ryan. And he's always saying, be careful, okay? He always tells me that, be careful. He will say something that sometimes I can't understand, and then at the end he always says, be careful, okay? And to our kids, same thing, be careful. I'm so sad to see him move. He really taught me how to live not so narrowly focused on just myself and my immediate family and friends, but get out of my comfort zone and get to know people, expand my boundary, and take risks in getting to know people, and serve and give where I can. So I will really miss you, Trung, and hopefully we'll see you again in Texas.
So I teach Sabbath school at kindergarten Sabbath school at church, and before COVID, when we actually went to church, every Sabbath morning is like chaos in our household. We're just getting dressed, eating breakfast, and always running behind. So one day, one Sabbath, I was going to do some craft that involved scissors. So I had gathered like 3 of our scissors at home to take to church. In trying to get to church in a hurry, I totally forgot about them and left them at home. And I'm like all frustrated. I get to church, and I'm late, and I'm rushing into class, and then I see Trung behind me, and he's kind of like, trying to get me to stop, and I'm trying to kind of rush. But then he hands me a bag, and there's a bag of like 12 kids' scissors. And I just thought that was kind of crazy, and I think he's kind of an angel of a sort. And what he gave me was actually better than what I had planned for myself. So I just thought that was very cool.
So Trung had asked me to take him home one Sabbath afternoon, and it was one of those Saturdays where I had made an appointment. And so I thought about it real quick, and I said, I think I have time to take him home and make the appointment. So I said, all right, let's go. So we start driving, and then Trung says, hey, I need to go to Home Depot. I said, okay, let's stop by Home Depot. So we stop by, and he spends a few minutes in there, comes back out, and we're back on the road, and then he goes, I need to go to Walmart now. And now I'm like, oh man, and I just kind of figured I'm going to be late for my appointment now. So we go to Walmart, and he goes in, and he spends several more minutes in there. He comes back out, and now we're back on the road, and eventually we make it to his house. And I pull into his driveway, and I was going to just take off, and he says, hey, hold on, I've got something for you. So I said, no, it's okay, Trung, it's okay. And he's like, no, just wait here. He runs into the house, and he comes back out, and he's carrying a brown paper bag and some leftovers. And he says, here, I want you to have this. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I take the bag and the leftovers, and I take off, and I make it to my appointment. I'm late. And eventually later that evening, I come home, and I'm emptying out the car. And I take this brown paper bag and the leftovers, and I leave it in the garage. And then several weeks pass. And I kind of forget about it for a while. And then I look at a couple weeks later, I'm looking at this bag and this leftovers, and I'm like, I should probably throw this away. So I take the leftovers, throw the food away, and I was kind of gingerly opening up the brown paper bag, not knowing what was inside. And when I open it, there was a very small, compact toolkit. And when I opened up the toolkit, it was a socket wrench, and it was one of those extended socket wrenches that could reach into those deep crevices. And it was a particular socket wrench that takes care of those very large lug nuts. And what nobody on earth knew was that I was actually looking for that exact socket wrench that was extended that could handle such a big lug nut. What had happened was that my boat trailer had a flat tire. And I was trying to change the flat tire on my boat trailer, but I didn't have that exact lug nut. And so I had been looking for several weeks online, trying to find something that fit this lug nut. And when I opened up this toolbox, Trung had purchased this exact lug nut that I needed during his excursion to Home Depot and to Walmart. And when that hit me, I was completely speechless. And I remember falling to my knees right there in my garage, and I gave thanks to God right there. I was just absolutely overwhelmed and a little bit humbled that if I hadn't actually taken the time to take Trung to these different locations and been patient, I never would have seen this small miracle that God had made for me. So I just thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I have been going to church with RoC family for 2 years, and they feed me every weekend very well. I like the food at RoC church. They eat spicy, but they humble. They like to work with American. They kids all education, and they kids go up by good season for sure. I feel very feel lonely if I don't go to church. If I go to Texas and looking for Korean church, goodbye to RoC family. Good luck, the best to come to RoC family. Okay, I say okay.